Let me guess, you've been working on your business, like really working on it. Those late night tweaking on your website copy, the hours that you spend on Canva. And let's face it, you're not even that creative. So putting a graphic together, it feels like you're doing it for hours just to get it done. And remember that lead magnet Michelle told you to create? You've been building it for weeks. And that social media grid somehow is just not cooperating. You want it to be in a certain specific location, but somehow it always come out wrong. And yet, despite of all these things that you're doing, well, there's still no clients. And that's the part that doesn't make sense at all. You've been posting, you've done everything that you're supposed to do. You're showing up, you're building, and you're putting in the work, and you're sitting there and waiting at the end of the week. You're looking at your calendar, and there's no discovery call. It's empty. So you go back to your website. Maybe that was the problem. You're thinking maybe it was the messaging. Maybe you just need better lead magnet. Maybe you need a complete different platform. That cycle just start all over again. Well, today I want to ask you one question. Just one simple one. And you might want to sit down before you answer it. So, for everything that you're working on in your business this week, can you tell me what is the outcome of the activity that is leading directly to a client? And if you're pausing now, if that question made you like quiet for a minute and you're thinking about, well, what exactly is this Canva graphic going to do for me that would actually lead to a client? If you can't answer that, that is what this episode is for. Because busy is not the same as being productive, and productivity in your business doesn't mean getting things done. It means that getting things done that move someone into your world and get them closer to become a client. And everything else, I mean, everything else is just the background noise dressing up as progress. So today I am going to give you one question, just one, and I want you to use it as a filter for every single thing that you're doing in your business from this point moving forward. If the task can answer this one question clearly, then it stays on your list. If it doesn't, it goes to the back burner, not feeling guilty, no shame, just now is not the right time. Because in your first year of coaching business, or even up to the 3 year, your only job is to get client, not to build the perfect brand, not to create the most beautiful lead magnet, and definitely not to have a website that wins a designer's award. A lot of coaches, especially when they first started out, their website is actually losing clients than helping them to get more clients. And by the end of this episode, if you're going to know exactly which of your current activity are doing that job and which one have been keeping you busy and not having any clients. So let's get into it. All right, let's start with why new coaches are really overwhelmed. If you ask most new coaches why they feel overwhelmed, they're going to tell you it's because there's so many things to do. Too many platforms, too many strategies, too many people telling them different things. And yes, the noise out there is real, and I'm not going to pretend it's not. But here's what I see when I work with coaches one on one and also inside my cohort, that overwhelm is almost never about the volume of work. It's about the lack of direction underneath that work. So let me explain what I mean. So when you're first starting out your coaching business, everyone tell you what you need to build your website, to build your social media presence, to build your email list, to build your brand, to build your funnel, build, build, build. And so you start building because that's what you've been told to do, right? And it feels very productive. It feels like progress. You're actually creating things, you're putting things together, you're watching your business taking shape, website, funnel, email. Except here's the problem. No one stop and ask you, does any of those actually lead to a client right now? The online space is filled with advice. Just looking at this channel, I have done so many different topics, and these advice are not wrong exactly. It's just out of the order. So when I create content, I may not follow a specific roadmap and a specific topic. I pick the topic that is most relevant for perhaps this week or perhaps this month. So the things that you've been told to do are things that matter. Yes, absolutely. Eventually, but not before you have client, not before you have the cash flow, not before you have actually enough conversation to know what your people need and what language to use to describe their own problem. So when you start building before you sell, you end up with a beautiful business that nobody walks into it yet. And when you notice that something is not working, when you're building all the things that the client is still not coming in, you don't know which thing to fix because you have built so many already. So you're trying to fix everything at the same time while adding more new things because someone on Instagram said you need a podcast now. And that is where the overwhelm comes in. Not too much work without a clear line to the result that actually matter. So all the things that they're telling you, it matters. They matter because eventually in your business you do want to have a website, you do want to have a lead magnet, you do want to have email lists, but the only result that matter in this early stage of your business is getting yourself some paying clients so that you can build the experience and you can build the confidence knowing that, hey, I can actually make this business thing possible. So the question becomes, how do you cut through all this and figure out what actually to focus on? And that is where the filtering question comes in. So the one question that would change everything for you, and I want you to sit down and write this down if you can. That one question is, what is the outcome of this activity that will lead into a client? The question I want you to write down is, what is the outcome of this activity that will lead to a client? Read it back, say it out loud, put it somewhere you're going to see it every single day. Because this question is now your filter for everything. Every task on your to do list, every strategy that you read about, every piece of advice that someone gives you, every shiny new idea that you have that occurred to you at 11 p.m. at night when you are just about to go to sleep. You wanted to run this filter with this question first. And here's how it works. If you can answer the question clearly, if you can draw a straight line from the activity to a real client conversation, then it stays on your list. If you're saying like, well, eventually when enough people see it, or it sounds something like it's building my brand for the long term, or well, someone told me I need this, it goes on to the back burner. Not forever, just for now. Until you have clients and the cash flow and the foundation that makes those things worth building. So let me show you why this question is so powerful. Let's say you're working on your website, you've been tweaking it for weeks, and you ask the question, what is the outcome of this that will lead to a client? If your honest answer is, well, I'm not sure, I just know that I need one, that goes to the back burner. If your honest answer is, my website has a clear call to action that's leading someone directly to book a call with me, and my message speaks directly to the person I want to work with, that passes the filter so you can keep going. Two very different answers, two very different outcome for your business. The first one is, well, I'm not sure. I think they'll book a call when they land on my website or when I go to a networking event. I think it would be nice. It would make me look professional. Then that goes to the back burner. So, unless your message on your website is clear, it speaks directly to the person that you want to work with, and you have a clear call to action that maybe it's booking a call with you, then that will stay and you keep going in that same direction. Now, let's say you're writing a blog post. What is the outcome of this going to lead to a client? Well, if there's no call to action at the end of that blog post, and there's no next step, there's no next path for the reader to or your prospect to take, then that goes to the back burner. If you have a strategic piece of content that speaks directly to your ideal client's problem, it positions you as the person who understands it better than anyone else. And at the end of that article or that blog post has a clear invitation to take the next step, whether it's downloading your lead magnet or following you on your YouTube channel, and maybe you send them to your social media. Well, in that case, that also pass. You see how this works? It's not about doing less, it's about doing the right thing. And the question tells you immediately, without any debate, without any confusion, whether something belongs on your priority list now or not. Now that we talked about the filter that you need in your coaching business in order to eliminate some of the overwhelming feeling that you are going through as a new coach or as you're starting building this coaching business in the early stages, I'm going to take the most common thing that I see new coaches are spending their time on, and we're going to run every single one of them through this filtering question together. So some of them are going to pass and some of them are not. And I think a few of those are going to really surprise you. First task that a lot of coaches have on their plate is building your website. I don't know, for some reason, everybody runs to build a website, including myself when I first started. But the question is, does a website really lead to a client? It can, but here's the truth about most coaching website. They don't. Most coaching websites are pretty vague. They talk about the transformation and potential and living your best life. They're beautiful homepage and about page that read like a LinkedIn bio and the service page that describe the coaching process instead of the outcome that the client can get. That kind of website does not lead to a client. A website that passed the filter will look very different. It speaks directly and specifically to one person. It describes her problem in the language that she used herself, and it also makes the solution feel like obvious and achievable. And it has a clear call to action, like booking a call, grab a resource, or join a community that moves your prospect into a conversation with you. So if your website does that, it pass, keep building. But if your website is still in the I'm working on finding the right words, put it on the back burner and go have some real conversation first. Those conversations will give you the exact words your website needs. Task number two on many coaches' list is creating a lead magnet. A lead magnet can be very powerful. They can also be the world's greatest procrastination tool dressed up in productivity. I say this with love because I've been there. I once created 17 pages of lead magnet, 17 pages. I spent weeks on it and I was so proud of it. But the thing is, nobody downloaded it. And honestly, I wouldn't have downloaded it either because nobody wants to sit there on a Tuesday night and working through 17 pages of workbook from someone they have just found on Instagram. So a lead magnet passed the filter when it is simple, specific, and designed to attract exactly the person you want to work with and move her towards the next step. One page checklist or a short training, a 5 minutes audio, something that she can consume quickly and she would get value from actually spending those time on that lead magnet. If your lead magnet is sitting in the Canva half finished while you're still trying to figure out the perfect design, that goes to the back burner. Go and talk to people first. Find out what they actually need, then build the thing that answers that specific need. Task number three, and you're probably doing this already. If not, you're probably jumping and thinking about that you need to do it, is perfecting your brand, the color, the font, the aesthetic. And I'll be honest with you, your brand color, it's not going to assign you a client. those are not relevant in getting you closer to a paying client. Branding does not pass the filter. It looks great, it looks feels good for you, and maybe it'll attract some of the client who also resonate that branding, but that alone is not going to get you client. So what pass the filter is having a clear point of view, a specific message, a consistent voice that makes the right person feel seen every time she encounters you. The brand and the color can come later. You just need to have that consistency. So whether you choose all black or white, just stick to that for now. Task number four that a lot of coaches are doing, but they have no idea what outcome it's going to give them to lead to a client is posting on social. Posting on social can pass the filter, or it can actually the most elaborated form of busy work in the world. It depends entirely on what you're posting and whether it has a clear path to a client conversation. Posting past the filter when your content is speaking directly to your ideal client's specific problem, position you as the person who gets it better than anyone else. And that includes a clear next step that moves her towards you. So, posting alone does not pass the filter when it is just motivational quotes. It's a generic tip that could apply to anyone. Or maybe it's a content design that just get likes and rather than starting a conversation. So you want to ask yourself honestly, is my content designed to make people feel good, or is it designed to make the right person feel seen so that she can reach out? Those are two different goals. And only one will lead to a paying client. So, after running everything through the filter question, here's what your priority list is going to look like as a new coach. Now, if you close the book, shut the videos, and go walk away from your computer, these are the tasks that's going to lead you to paying clients. What you want to do is you want to sit in the room where your ideal client is, whether it's online or in person, podcast interview, networking event, Facebook group, LinkedIn conversation, anywhere the person is already showing up and having real conversation. Maybe at a coffee shop where you consistently show up and going, and maybe it's a professional networking group that you have been thinking about joining, but you haven't really thought about making the time to go. You want to think about and focusing activity like talking to people, whether it's DM or a on a call or maybe at an event. Having real conversation is going to build the trust faster than any piece of the content ever will. So when you're first starting out, you wanted to think about where can I place myself so that I can have conversation with people that would introduce me as a coach. And I would encourage you to think about this in terms of the virtual world and also in real life. Even in the virtual world, you can still have a lot of conversation by showing up on your social. And through those conversations, your next step is to make an offer, a clear, specific, confident offer, not well, reach out if you're interested. Then actual offer or package with a clear next step attached. The third activity that you want to include on your to do list, especially if you're a new coach, is you want to make sure you follow up. Most coaches make one mention of their offer or their package and then move on. They just assume that people would like if you mention once, they would totally get it, right? No, the coach who get clients are those who consistently follow up, check in, and also they stay within the conversation and they will remind people again and again and again that, hey, I am a coach and this is what I help people with. And so here's your next step. Book a call and we can talk about helping you to accomplish A, B, and C. And the next task on your list should be you need to have a calendar link so that people can actually book a call and taking the next step towards becoming your paying client. Now, there's your list. what to do. Everything else can just go to the back burner because the website refinement, the brand aesthetic, elaborating on the lead magnet, the course that you want to build someday, and hopefully in that people would need to join, those are the future work. Those are important work, but they are future work. Right now, your job is to have conversation and you want to offer, and that's it. Get a paying client. So here's what I want you to take away from today. The overwhelm that you're feeling in your coaching business is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you've been giving a lot of advice without a clear filter for what actually matters right now. And that filter is one question, just one simple question. What is the outcome of this activity that's going to lead to a client? Use it every day. Use it before you start a new project. Use it before you say yes to a new strategy. Use it when you're sitting down on Monday morning and planning out your week. Let it be the thing that cut through all the noise and bring you back to what actually mattered. Because your certification is sitting there, your skills are real, your ability to change someone else's life is not a question. What is in the question is whether the right person can find you, whether your message is reaching to her, whether you're showing up in the way that makes her feel seen enough so that she want to take the next step. If you want someone to look at what you've been building and tell you honestly what is wrong and what isn't, and what to focus on next, that is exactly why I have free strategy call for this. In that 30 minutes, we'll look at your business, finding the gaps, and mapping out the clear path so that you are not wasting any more time. The link to book your strategy call is down in the show note. Go grab it. Let's figure this out together. And if you found this episode to be helpful, please do share it with a coach that you know who need to hear it. And also make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. It's going to help more coaches finding their way, finding the show. And that's exactly why I'm here for. I'll see you next week.